Hello, hello, hello. Gareth Naylor here, watercolour landscape artist, and I'm doing my 50 paintings of Spain. And this is the one I'm doing. It's number 12, and I think this is a city scene of Madrid, taken from the top of a bus, one of those touring buses. So I did another painting that I'm quite happy with. This one. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. But I really went crazy with that. I really went a bit wild with it. Maybe it doesn't look like that, but I did. And the topic of this video is, how do I say this? The topic of this video is it's like I know what it is, but I just can't find a word for it. It's okay, I'll explain. I'll give you one example. So here we go. Ta-da! We've got this lovely picture. So this was the original picture, yeah? But when you look at my I'm fighting with the air conditioner here, it's blowing at me. But when I did the painting, can you see I chopped off that lovely angel on the top of the building? Now that is a lovely angel, but I thought this composition was better. It just worked better. And I thought this building is just too high. So when you begin and you have some image, some photograph that you're going to use, it's really, really good to change it. Change something about that photograph. And you're going to find maybe resistance within you. So this is what this video is about. It's about how we've got all these kind of rules or something in our head, and they stop us from producing great work. And the way we defeat or overcome these rules in our head is by changing things. And so with the composition, you want to look at it and you want to think, what if I do that? Or even, what if I do this? Does it look better? Yeah? Or what if I do that? Now that looks rubbish, doesn't it? But actually, that's good to do that, because then you can say, I know that doesn't work. That's not interesting. But if I have a bit of this road, that looks better. So this is why I'm talking about chopping and changing things, because by doing that, you'll learn what makes a good image and what doesn't. And you'll also start to see, if I do this, it's going to be the best image of all, or that particular image really, really works. And so this is something where, in a way, overkill is okay. Doing things too much can really be a good thing. So the other thing I changed was the sky. So in this one, you can see we've got this blue sky with these white clouds. And I looked at that and I thought, I don't think that's going to work well as an image. And that's what we're creating. That's what you have to remember. We are making an image. An image is shapes. And so we have to think in terms of shapes. And shapes have like a vertical and horizontal aspect, yeah? And I really emphasize that a lot in my work. And if you look at the sky, I made a vertical sky. I love vertical skies. And then I just changed all the colors. Like it's yellow here, red here, and blue here. It's crazy, right? Not true. That's completely wrong, right? That's not how the sky looks. I changed it. I changed it, and I thought about it as an image. And when you look at it, it's fun, right? It's interesting. And can you see how this road changes as you go along? Look, here it's quite cool, but here it's kind of warm and bright. Suddenly, we've got a much more exciting image. Why? Because I chopped and changed. I did something different. Okay, so next thing is, what's the next thing? So yeah, the buildings themselves, right? So when you paint buildings, you always think you've got to paint them very carefully, very accurately. No, 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 no. Once again, I mean, you can do it that way, but it's not going to have much life and feeling in it. What I did was I just ran paint down here. And when I'd done this bit, I got some fresh paint, pure yellow ochre, and I ran it down. And if you look, can you see how it blends in? Now that isn't how it looks on the photograph. That is art. That is fun. And that is interesting. Do sound a bit arrogant there, but I think I'm right. I think I'm right, yeah? And here I did, anyway, I like it. Anyway, here I did blue, yeah? And I let it run down. And can you see how I'm playing with these colours here? It's not all the same. I'm really exaggerating with things and playing around with them. And that's what you've got to do, yeah? And then the other thing, and here I really graded it. Can you see that? Because it looks more interesting. It just looks more interesting. You know, look at this. Not graded. Actually, it is a bit, but I massively exaggerated it, right? Okay, next thing. Okay, so the next thing is, they often say in watercolour painting, don't use titanium white. Don't. Never, never. It's like a sin, honestly. No, this is paint on paper. This is paint on paper, yeah? God is not going to be upset if you use titanium white. If he is, then this is just a crazy world, yeah? So I just say, break the rules, because then you'll learn. And there is a case for not using opaque white, because watercolour is about transparency and it does look beautiful. And I must admit, I am a bit heavy-handed. I really, really am. But my feeling is you learn so much by breaking things. And when we're talking about art, breaking things isn't such a bad thing, right? Because we're not really hurting anybody. Okay, we might be hurting somebody's refined aesthetic sensibility. Yes, but it's a lot of fun. So look here, I used titanium white here. Looks great, doesn't it? And here I mixed it up with a bit of a light blue, and it looks great, right? And then here, what I did here, I was copying Alvaro, right? And normally I use red. In this one, can you see? I used like a cad red. And maybe you prefer that. But like I said, don't just copy forever. Get to a point where you mix it up a bit by doing something a bit different. And if you fail, which you probably will, you're normally going to fail. It's okay. Who cares? It's just a piece of paper and some paint. Here, I made these slightly different lights. Might not look different, but I mixed up alizarin crimson with some titanium white. I think so anyway. And I got these, and I think they look fantastic. And they're not quite the same. They're not quite the same as them. I'm not sure if you can see it. And I like the difference. It's very subtle. I did the same with the traffic light, but I like it. And that's what I'm trying to say. Well, I didn't tell you what I'm trying to say. Well, I did, but I've got more to add. So it's this, chop and change things. Really mix things up. For example, instead of painting a blue sky, why not green? Why not? Because you never have a green sky? Maybe not, maybe not. But if you do a green sky, it will be interesting and you will learn something. And yeah, and this is where this all leads. If you do these chop and change things, oh, I did another painting, by the way. Yeah, this is a more boring one. Yeah, I think that is a bit boring, don't you? That's why I was being so careful with the sky and yeah, it's boring. Congratulations. Don't chop and change. And here's one where I really chop and changed a lot. I mean, look at this road. A yellow, red and blue road. Do you ever see anything like that? No. And look, lots of gouache or titanium white, opaque paint there. Tut, tut, tut. It's fun, right? But anyway, sorry. Yeah, if you chop and change things, you will begin to develop your own, you'll become more confident, number one, as an artist. Number two, you'll become a better artist. And number three, you will just develop within yourself a kind of uniqueness, your own signature. I mean, that's always going to happen with time. But if you play with things, there's so much more you can add to your unique signature. It's like when you write your name, if at the very end you could add some beautiful flourish to your name. That's what I'm trying to do with you. I'm trying to say, look, you're going to have your uniqueness. Your uniqueness will come through, but it can be even more than you think if you learn to really break the rules and chop and change and mess around with things. Is that okay? And then just one more thing that might be interesting for you. So I just thought I'd tell you how you can paint a car windscreen really easily. Really easily, yeah? So look at this car windscreen. It's pretty good, right? It's pretty good, right? It's a bit overly abstract and whatever, but it's not bad, right? Super easy. If you look at windscreens, you can often see a reflection on them of a building, a dark object, yeah? So what I did is, already this was tinted because I did a big sky wash, yeah, and here was like yellow ochre. But what I did is I painted this dark black bit here. After that dried, I did a light blue, slightly greeny wash over it. Then when that dried, I just added some white opaque paint. And look at it. Very easy. Yeah? Maybe I ought to tell you about a few other techniques I did. So this building here, yeah? Can you see how I faded that? I mean, I really like that textural effect. Now, the way I did that was after it had dried, I got a big brush. I did 1 or 2 strokes down just to wet it. If you do repeated brushing, you will start to move the pigment. So don't do that. Get a big brush and just go down as few times as possible. 1, 2, 3. So it's moist. Then you get a tissue and you wipe down. It will take some practice to master that, but I think it looks quite fun, right? And I'm not sure if I told you, but getting these effects, basically I paint this and then I get pure yellow ochre and let it run down on the wet paint. And I did the same maybe with some of this here with white gouache or something, some blue paint. You can see blue paint here that I let run down. So there you go. I hope that's helpful and interesting. Let me know in the comments, and if it isn't, then I can delete this video. But the main message of this video, and the thing that was going through my head, was that don't just do things in the same way every time. Change how you change your compositions, change how you paint the sky, change how you colour the buildings, and watch out for these internal rules that you create and follow, because it can be a bit like having a straitjacket and you're never going to be able to fully express your art, your artistic nature, if you just keep following those rules. Okay, that's all. Happy painting and bye for now. Bye.